long time, Lawrence Davis. Lawrence. Thank you. That's a great group of people. Thank you all. We're going to have a big victory. Lawrence, you agree with Bernie, right? I think we're going to have a big, big victory. Bigger than even 4 years ago. That was good. Remember, they wouldn't announce it. We were like a point up, which, some people say is a lot. I think we'll do a lot better this time. Because at that time, I said I was going to do things, but, it's like a lot of people say things. Now I've accomplished more than I ever said I would in the campaign. But I think we're going to have the kind of numbers that people are going to be very surprised at. We've spent the last 4 years reversing the damage Joe Biden inflicted over his 47 years in politics, along with his other friends. He championed every globalist betrayal of Pennsylvania for almost half a century. He supported NAFTA, got rid of that one. South Korea renegotiated that one. TPP got out of that one. And China's entry into the World Trade Organization, which he said was a wonderful thing. No, it wasn't. It's a terrible thing. That's when China took off like a rocket ship. But you know what? China was going to overtake us for 10 years. They said 2019, they're going to overtake us. Guess what? We way outdid them in 18 and 19. And we picked up. If you have somebody smart, you got to have somebody smart. But if you have somebody smart in this position, you're president, they'll never overtake you. They'll never, ever overtake you. They have more people, but they'll never overtake you. You have somebody smart. Biden's NAFTA and China deals wiped out 1/3 of your state's manufacturing jobs. You know that better than anybody. Biden shouldn't be asking for your vote. He should be begging for your forgiveness. A little hokey. In a true sense, this election is a choice between Pennsylvania and China, or whatever state we're talking about in China. But we're doing well. It's interesting. We signed a great deal. The farmers have done more business in the last 2-3 weeks. Biggest corn orders ever, the biggest soybean, biggest cattle, biggest beef orders. But it doesn't mean as much to me. The ink wasn't even dry and the plague came over Mike, right? It wasn't even dry. It just doesn't mean what it would have meant. I withdrew from that catastrophe because I was elected to fight for Pennsylvania, not for Paris. And we're putting America first. It's been a long time, right? From day one, I put America first. To defend our workers, I opposed tariffs on foreign aluminum and foreign steel. I saved our auto industry by withdrawing from the horrible Trans-Pacific Partnership. Would have killed what I've done for Michigan, in particular, also Pennsylvania, but what I've done for them with autos, forget it. They're building 17 or expanding 17 different plants. They hadn't built one in 42 years, and we're building a lot of them. We have countries, you want to do business with us, go in and build auto plants. I ended the NAFTA nightmare and signed the brand new U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement into law, which is great. And you're not going to be losing companies to Mexico and Canada. Very disadvantageous for them to do that. I took the toughest ever action to stand up to China's rampant theft of Pennsylvania's jobs. I proudly signed a historic executive order making it official government policy to buy American and hire American. Now, I watched Biden 2 weeks ago. What's going on? This lid, you know what a lid is? He keeps putting a lid. He's got a lid. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Now a lid means you're out for the day. That means the fake news meeting, you go home. They've got the easiest job I've ever seen. They never The media, please go home. There won't be any activity from sleepy Joe Biden. He's a low-energy individual. Now, you need a president with a lot of energy. You deal with President Xi of China, President Putin of Russia, Kim Jong-un. Remember, we're going to be in a war with North Korea, right? What happened? What happened to the war? What happened? We didn't do anything. We didn't do anything. But millions of people could have been killed in that nuclear war. at it, right? You know, getting along with these foreign nations is not a bad thing. They say, oh, we get along. I asked Obama, I was sitting, he told me the biggest problem we had was North Korea. And he was telling me why, he was telling me lots of horror stories. I said, excuse me, have you ever tried court? I screwed up in one evening like this. Because when Obama got it, nobody knew what he got it for, including him. Remember, they said, what did you get it for? I don't know. That's how different. We have to work harder. He got a Nobel Prize, and he didn't have any idea why he got it. Then he started dropping bombs 2 weeks later on some place that didn't work out. Couldn't work out because he had John Kerry negotiating, who was the worst. Incompetent. Now, it's so sad that Iran, that horrible deal. That was a fast plane. That must have been one of the new ones we just bought, you know? We have all new equipment. That was scary. If I'm the enemy, I don't want to hear that sound. But I said to our First Lady, turn on the television. Turn it on, darling. It's going to be a big evening. I toast you, but I don't drink, darling. Just don't drink. Not so bad. So we turned it on, and they did a story on the weather. It was raining heavily in a certain area. Then they did a story on something else, and something else. Then they went into another story, then another. Then they had a commercial that lasted for about 9 minutes. Even though, you know, they're not supposed to make money. They're using our free airways for fake news, okay? They're using free airways. Think about that. We're thinking about that. We're thinking about that. Why are they using free airwaves to give fake news? So it came toward the end. I said, darling, I'm a little embarrassed. But the following day, I got nominated for another one. I called her up. I said, you know, maybe they forgot. So let's go home and turn on the television. It was exciting. They had another story that this time they're cleaning up the range. Another one. Got to the commercial, never ended. Got back a little tiny piece, and I said they didn't cover 2 Nobel Prizes. I got 2 in 1 week. Did you ever hear that one? For different things, totally unrelated. And my only complaint is I should have gotten about 7 or 8, because if you knew some of the other things I've done are much better, I should have gotten 7. But the fake news never even put it on. And somebody had a show where they said the amount of time devoted to Donald Trump's Nobel Peace Prize, 2 of them, 0 on the network, 0. Then the amount of time devoted to something else that was negative for somebody in the Republican Party was like infinite. It is so disgraceful. They're so bad. But we just have to keep on winning. You know, there's nothing like winning. Just keep on winning. Keep on winning. See, now they'll tell that story differently. They won't tell it as, you know, we do it in fun, because I understand them. You have to laugh. If you can't laugh, you'd be out of here fast, right? Like Beto when he said, I was born to run for president. That was it. On a magazine. He was on a fake magazine, Vanity Fair, which is dying. That sucker's dying. Well, those magazines are going down fast. But he was on a fake magazine, Vanity Fair, I think. And he started saying about, you know, he had a good week. And he started saying, I was born to do this. I was born to run for president. I said, he's not going to last very long. And about 2 weeks later, it was over. He was put in charge of taking your guns away, though, by Biden. You know that, right? Beto. How do you get the name Beto? He needed a little Spanish, because his last name is Beto O'Rourke. Where does the Beto come from? Another phony deal going on there. To protect American workers during the pandemic, I suspended the entry of foreign workers who threaten U.S. jobs, and we will always care for our citizens first. Biden's pledge to terminate these protections and give away your jobs. Under my administration, we've achieved the most secure border in U.S. history. And we are just finishing that beautiful wall, 340 miles. 340. They don't talk about the wall. Build that wall. Build that wall. They don't talk about the wall. I got sued by Nancy Pelosi, crazy Nancy. I got sued. mistake in the wall. I always say we have to build the wall, build the wall, build the wall, right? I should have just said very simply, we will not build the wall. The money would have come pouring. They would have insisted that we build it. And remember, walls work. Remember when they said walls don't work? Walls don't work. They want to give us drones so we can watch the people pour across the border. Drones. Put a drone half a mile up in the air. You can watch everybody come into the United States. Now, remember that? They said walls. But two things work, and I say it all the time. You know, when you come up, when you're a brilliant scientist, you develop a new chip, you develop a new laptop or computer. In about 3 weeks, it's obsolete. It's worthless, right? A wall will never be obsolete. And what else won't be obsolete? A wheel. There's two things that will never be obsolete. A wall and a wheel. Everything else, trouble.